Hey Clear Lake peeps, Ross England here. This is a video I told you I would shoot that just kind of explains what these fishing reports are all about, a little bit of background. Come here. A little bit of background about me so you know who you're dealing with. Been a full-time fishing guide here for over 15 years. Been a guide here for about 18. Like everybody, when you start out guiding, it starts out slow. So the only place I guide on, with very rare exception, is here on Clear Lake. I have snuck over to Berryessa a couple of times, but that was basically by request for a specific purpose. So I've been fishing for black bass almost all my adult life. It's just what I do, it's what I enjoy. The background on me is I used to fish a lot of tournaments. Back in the day, there was an organization called Operation Bass. Operation Bass ran a circuit called the Redman Tournament Trail. And the Redman Tournament Trail was a boat-on-boat draw format tournament. So there was nobody. You showed up. They drew two numbers. If you both had boats, you had to sit and discuss, whose boat are we using. So I fished 5 years of their circuit back in those days, qualified for all 5 regionals, and at the time one of the biggest tournaments other than probably the Bassmasters Classic was the Redman All-American, where the top 40 from all of these events through regional qualifications and everything made the All-American, and I qualified for the All-American, fished it twice. So that's kind of my background and pedigree. I do enjoy fishing this lake. I fish for bass primarily. I also will fish for crappie when it's handy and convenient, and I'll also chase around a catfish every once in a while, especially in the winter. Only had one decent day of that this year, and that's kind of disappointing. But anyway, mostly bass fishermen. So what I wanted to try to accomplish with this fishing report is try to post a video on Thursdays, which obviously people could think about, digest the information, and figure out if it's something they wanted to come up and fish on the weekends. Of course, a big part of this is I'm trying to drive my guide business, but that's just a bigger part of it. I'm very comfortable with the amount of trips that my guide business produces, so I'm not really actively out there trying to get more. But, I used to drive 4 hours to come up here and compete before the internet. Actually, before cell phones, too. But you come up here, didn't know what the water level was, didn't know what the conditions were, nothing. And I thought, you know what, I'm out here all the time. It's not going to kill me. I really didn't want to get into it, but my buddy Matt really kept after me and kept talking to me, and finally decided, okay, we'll start posting the videos. We'll do a fishing report. So what the fishing report is to me, and what I'm trying to get across to you folks, is number one, I'm trying to give you the conditions of the lake as much as I can with how I get around the lake. Try to talk to you a little bit about water clarity, talk to you about water temperature when it's significant, talk to you about weeds, algae blooms, anything like that that would impact your trip before you get here. You'll have some kind of an idea. So number one is water conditions. Number two is activity that's coming this weekend. So by posting it on Thursday, I track all the tournaments. I do my best to try to keep them straight and tell you right here, okay, you got a tournament on Saturday, you got a tournament on Sunday, or you got a tournament that breaks Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so that you don't drive up here after spending 3 hours in the car, 4 hours, or 5 hours, whatever the number is, hit the launch ramp and find out there's already 180 boats out here. So that's number two. Number three, try to give you a big picture of what the fishing, how it is. whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's easy, whether it's, tough. There's times up here when the average person coming up here struggles. They hear that it's a good bite. They come up here and they go away having caught 1, 2, 3, 4 fish, and they're hearing stories about people catching 30, 40, 50. That's just the way Clear Lake is, but that's the third part that I'm trying to, get across to you folks. So I hope that explains it a little bit better. The fishing that I'm going to talk about is going to be based on my experience. The fishing I'm going to talk about is going to be based on maybe a couple of my buddies who give accurate information. What you won't get from me is stories. I'm not going to throw out a bunch of stuff just because this is what I hear. If I don't know it for a fact, one of my better friends doesn't tell me. In other words, if I don't think it's a fact, I'm not going to talk about it. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish with this deal. I hope you enjoy it. Please send comments and all that, because I think it's really cool. I like it. There's a lot of information that's shared. If you go down and look at the comments down on some of these videos, there's actually a lot of information that's shared down there. So, and I'm an equal opportunity abuser. I don't care if you're in a canoe, a kayak, a float tube, or a bass boat, or fishing out of a ski boat. The information should be just as useful to all of you, and that's just the best. That's what I'm trying to do. So thanks for taking the time to watch this, and we'll talk to you with the next fishing report.